Welcome to the Depot Sports Extra. I'm Ed Owens. I'm joined here by Travis Brown from the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. We're going to talk a little TCU football. TCU, like West Virginia, 4-8 season last year, but unlike West Virginia, there's a lot of people calling TCU the best 4-8 team in the country last year. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, if you look back at some of the end of some of their games, I mean, on almost all of their losses, except for Oklahoma State, really, they were in that game. And there was a chance that if one play went one way or the other, the whole outcome of the game could have been differently. And I think the players on the team sense that. They'll never come out and actually say that, but I think they'll sense that, they were that just one play, one bounce of the ball one way or another away from probably claiming at least two, if not maybe four more of those victories. So things really would have bounced the right way. So they were close. They just didn't have that last push on a lot of those to claim those victories.
I think that's why a lot of the defensive guys in particular today were saying that they were taking the credit or the blame, if you want to look at it that way, for some of those losses that it came down to last-second touchdowns they weren't able to prevent. Do you think that's fair for the defensive guys to shoulder that burden?
I think the defensive guys are some of the more veteran have the most leadership and are the most mature guys on the team, and so they are, of course, going to shoulder that blame just because they have some of the best coach speakers in the Big 12, I think, as far as media day goes. The defense played really well last year. It really was on the shoulders of the offense. And, I mean, yes, I'm sure there could have been one extra interception or one extra play here or there that might have helped, but when it really comes down to it, it was the offense that really held things up last year.
And turning our attention to the offense, TCU has a pair of new offensive coordinators this year, Doug Meacham and Sonny Cumbie, both coming from different programs, joining forces at TCU. They're bringing a really different style of play to TCU than maybe you guys have experienced in the past. What's that been like so far? And what do you guys expect in terms of personnel and fit and matchups coming up this year? It
was a little surprising when the news came down that they were making these hires and they were looking to switch this, because Gary Patterson has been pretty adamant about his run the ball, power run game, run it hard. Because he comes from Kansas State, and that kind of grinded out football is what they've been known for up until now. I mean, but it's also something that he relies upon because he's so strong, defensive minded, that he gives your defense time to rest when you're running the ball, running the clock out, letting them get some Gatorade. I think that's what he was kind of trying to go for in the press conference today. I mean, something about Gatorade. I don't know. But as far as what it'll come to look like on the field, it'll be up tempo. It'll be like a lot of the other teams that you see in the Big 12, and I think that they're starting to see that too, the kind of athlete they're recruiting in Texas, that's what they've been running in high school. So the transition, even for some of these younger guys or guys that are just step up into new roles this year, shouldn't be too much different, because that's what Texas high school football is running nowadays. Okay. So it probably will look pretty similar to a lot of things that TCU, Big 12, Texas high school football fans are used to seeing.
Nice. And I know one thing we talked about earlier, as wide open as the quarterback situation appeared to be last year, even more this year. I mean, heading in with more question marks, more ways they can go. Coach Patterson's playing it pretty close to the vest. And do you guys anticipate this really coming down to the wire?
Oh, it'll come down to the first play of the game, I'm sure. Last year, it was between Trayvon Boykin and Casey Paul Hall, and there was, lots of media speculation and making jokes with him all year. It finally came down. He said, you won't know until the game starts. And he actually sent both of them out there on the first play in the huddle. So even when they were in the huddle, you didn't know if it was going to be Trayvon Boykin or Casey Paul Hall, and it turns out Boykin went out to wide out and Paul Hall was under center, and it went on from there. I don't think he'll send all five guys out there that are kind of in the running for this to begin with. There are two great freshmen that they brought in, true freshmen that before Matt Jokel transferred in, I think had a very good shot of trying to position for that starting position. I think Jokel will be the guy, I'm almost positive, because it just buys another year for these two freshmen to get further ingrained in the system, into this offense, get a year of college under their belt. And they're two, I believe, top 50 quarterbacks ranking on different rankings and recruiting things, and you can bet as soon as one of them gets a leg up, the other one will be looking to find somewhere else possibly to go and look, unless they're truly devoted to TCU and that's the place they want to play. That's just kind of typically how those things work out. So I don't think they would want to tip their hand to which one of those guys they'd want to go to. I look to see Jokel being the guy next year, but again, this is all my semi-educated opinion, I guess. I don't
I think West Virginia fans can sympathize there with the quarterback situation, not knowing what's going on. It's been a multi-year battle trying to get a handle on that. So just one last one for you then. Your prediction for the season. I don't know if you want to throw a record guess out there or what you think they need to do to be successful, but looking ahead, what do you project for TCU this year?
I'll start out better than last year. I think they'll make it to a bowl game. I think they'll get a few more wins under their belt. They're more experienced. It's a little bit difficult. I don't know if I can put a number on it quite yet because I want to kind of get through fall camp and see how this offense is really set in, these coordinators have set in, because that's really kind of up in the air, especially kind of hearing about how maybe some of these quarterbacks are doing. They'll be better than this year. They'll make a bowl game. Whether they'll be in contention for like a Big 12 championship or those top 3 spots, that's waiting to be seen with the offense, and I think that would be kind of a long shot to begin with. But I think TCU fans can definitely expect a bowl game this year.
All right, that's great stuff. Thank you very much for joining us. Travis Brown from the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. You can read his stuff there. And from Dallas, Texas, this is Ed Owens from theDpost.com.